crucial are these first couple of days in bridging that gap between the end of the regular domestic season and this forthcoming international series?
Yeah, they're really important for us. I think coming together closely as a group, building some friendships and bonds. A lot of the players know each other. A lot of the players know each other really well, really closely. But there is some new faces. But those faces have been in the England Nights programme, most of them, in England under 18. So they sort of understand the system. They understand what we're looking for. So it does make things a lot easier. But yeah, the first few days in particular, recovery from the long flight, making sure we're strong as a group, and starting to understand some of the principles that we'd like to play in this first game. So you plan for a long period of time for a tournament like this, and it's a long time between tournaments as an international player, as an international coach. And I think the World Cup last year was, it ended bitterly for us. We were really disappointed not to get an opportunity to play in the final and try and win the World Cup. And I think a lot of us have been waiting a long period of time now for this to come around. But we've now got, after today, 8 days to prepare for the game, so we've got to make the most of that. I certainly looked at the group today across lunchtime and saw they were mixing and saw the youthfulness of it. And yeah, we've got 2 or 3 really experienced players still, but some of our seasoned professionals now. We look at George Burgess, and he's still only very young, 21, 22 years of age, and a player who's going to be very, very important for us. But like I said, a young man still. So obviously in James Graham and Sean O'Loughlin, we've got a couple of players, and probably Sam Tompkins now comes into that part who have been around the scene for a long period of time, and their experience will be invaluable with everybody else. Our preparation is absolutely vital, and in terms of the staff that we've assembled again, I think we've got a world-class staff. The venue is outstanding. I spent a little bit of time researching different venues throughout Australia, and particularly up at this end of the country where our test match is in Brisbane. So, and come along Sanctuary Cove. Queensland Rugby League team used it for the first time this year. The Wallabies have used it as well. It is a world-class facility, and I think for us the ability to really mix some recuperation, some opportunity to relax and recover from the flight and a long season, but a real hard working environment as well has been the key to this being chosen as our venue. The players are really appreciative of playing for England, touring Australia and New Zealand, and getting opportunities to play in huge test matches. It gets no bigger. This is a tournament that is, there's a huge number of tickets being sold for the first test, a double header at the weekend. We'll quickly travel across to Melbourne on the back of that to face Australia, and then fly across to New Zealand. So look, there's plenty of excitement, plenty of anticipation for everybody involved.